Brews and Banter Podcast. Brews and Banter Podcast. What up? Welcome to Brews and Banter Podcast. I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, is the Legendary Brew Crew. What up, fellas?
I was reading this weekend. Mama.
Nah, it doesn't taste like dirt.
My name is Lou Belgium, ladies and gentlemen. I'm wondering,
does Delaware have an actual culture? This is the podcast that we talk about beer, but we also talk about a lot of things that's happening in the world, politics, movies, anything really that comes to our mind while we're here sampling these brews. Grab a drink and pull up a chair.
Ooh, we love you, Brews and Banter Podcast.
Yeah. 101. Fuck, I look like it's enough. I just done my thing. The whole thing. Not a crumb. I got work to get to.
Right. What up? Welcome to Brewsing Banter Podcast, where the topic is the rockin' and brew. Well, happy to fuel. I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, the Legendary Brew Crew. What's going on, Lou?
Hello, everyone. How you doing, Rob?
All right. This is episode 294 of Brewsing Banter Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the show. We are glad you are here. If you are joining us because you saw that Tom Segura post, hey.
Thank you.
If you are a returning bruiser or bruisette, all right, whatever.
Yay!
Welcome back. We are glad you can join us again for another episode of Brewsing Banter Podcast. Before we get into everything, we always like to know if anybody's drinking on something. So, what are we drinking today? Are you drinking something, Lou? I didn't even know.
I'm drinking, but not beer. It's a different type of brew. My podcast episode is being sponsored by Folgers. I'm drinking.
Yeah. You coffee. Not even like you just drank straight Maxwell House. Folgers
That's actually Folgers is the only coffee company I could think of at the time, but it's actually a K cup from a big box store. It's not even not name right or nothing. No, but sidebar. Little thing about coffee and me. I don't like coffee. I like French vanilla creamer. So my coffee usually has French vanilla creamer, but coffee black or with cream and sugar is just disgusting to me. So I normally I like coffee with I don't know what that's called, but coffee with hot chocolate. That's pretty dope. But just straight black coffee or coffee with cream and sugar, nah. French vanilla me, baby.
French vanilla you. All right.
How about you? You drink anything today?
Yeah, I got from they don't do like 16-ounce cans, but from Jackal Beer Works in Middletown, Delaware. I got their November Yankee Charlie beer. I think it was named for a veteran that is a longtime customer of theirs that was fighting in the Vietnam War, so they named it in honor of him. Here it is in my Delaware pint glass. You see, it's clear. I mean, it's very light. It's only 4.7%.
It's really it's very clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
That's a light beer for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely closer to the. I mean, it's a decent drinker. It's crushable. It's something an easy drink. It's not as flavorful as I would like. I've had 4.7 lagers that had a little more flavor to it. But it's an easy drinker. I'm not mad at it. I think this is maybe only my second time having Jackal beer. And maybe because it was in a crowler, maybe it comes off a little different than because I mean definitely smooth, but I don't know if I would say just keep on drinking. So I don't know if it's past me another, but
interesting. What's the ABV again?
4.7.
Is that why they say you could just drink a bunch of them? Is that why they advertising like that or marketing like that?
I don't know if they're saying. I'm just saying it was an easy drinker. But I know they named it for a Vietnam vet,
right?
So it might be one of his favorites as well. Okay. Actually, I'll pass.
Did the veteran status? Was that what put you over the top?
No, the more I think about it, if I was at a cookout or something like that, and it was on the. I would be like, nah, son. Like,
two is too much for me.
right. If somebody brought it to a cookout, I wouldn't turn it down.
Got you.
I'd be like, yeah, I'll drink that, and it's easy to drink, and because it's low ABV, I can have more than one.
Normally, I find like low ABV beers that feel like more summertime, fresh and more fresher. Is that how that is to you? Or is that more of an all weather type of low ABV?
No, definitely, yeah. Summertime, you sitting in your backyard, or you sitting at a friend's house, just shooting shit and just cracking open a beer or two, over a burger or something like that. I think that's where it comes into play. I don't know if I would always be like, yo, let me get that joint, but for what it is, it's beer. So shout out to Jackal.
Yeah.
For their
great
offer.
Jackal.
Hey, I'm just trying to say. I mean, try it if you want. Like when people go in and say, "Hey, I need something comparable to like," if they only drink Budweiser or Coors Light, I think
that's it.
They have their beer. So maybe that's what they were.
And for the record, Rob, and for everybody who's listening, we don't pass me another on every beer we put on the podcast. Some beers we don't know what we're drinking until we drink it on the show. And if it's not good, or if it's not pass me another worthy, it's not getting a pass me another. So you don't have to pass me another if you ain't feeling it.
Right.
I just want everybody to know sometimes we drink beer on the show that isn't good, and that's okay.
Right. And it is an American lager. So I think that is what they were going for. It's something for that crowd that comes in. Because even when I had spent some time as a beer tender, some people would come in and say, what you got that's similar to a Corona or Bud Light or Coors Light or Miller Lite. I think, and sometimes you'd be like, I don't got nothing like that. I think they could say, hey, we got this right here. And being named for it, being non-veteran, that kind of makes sense because I think they only drink like those beers in the military sometimes when they're overseas and stuff like that. So I get it. So if it's in honor of that, then hey, and they did a great job.
and to be honest, maybe because they're so like most regular beer people don't drink craft beer, and they're starting to get into going to craft breweries and things like that. Maybe it is a good idea for craft breweries to have a something that's kind of comparable to what a normal regular beer drinker would drink, just in a crafty way. I remember we had the traveling hoptista April from South Carolina on, and she said she drank Heinekens and was trying to recreate the Heineken within a craft beer space, and that made her beer sell more because people that like Heinekens will gravitate to that type of beer, and then they get an introduction into craft beer at the same time. So it's kind of like a gateway beer when people come in and say, give me a beer that tastes like Coors Light, and you actually have something similar on your log, maybe that will help that person get more into craft beer. So that's kind of a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I guess before we start, wanted to say rest in peace to Oscar Wong. He was the founder of Highland Brewing in Asheville. I think he was like one of the godfathers of Asheville craft beer. He did pass away in May.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
At the age.
You say Asheville or Nashville?
Asheville,
North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was like one of the guy. Well, obviously they called him the godfather of Asheville beer scene. And if anybody's been to Asheville, they know that beer scene has come a long way. I think it's slowly making its recovery back from the those mudslides or landslides, or I'm not really sure what you would call them.
Was it a hurricane?
The floods but I think it was because of the flood of the hurricane.
Okay.
But that was he did pass away. Also, by the time this drops, Philly Beer Week will be over. So if you if you did partake in Philly Beer Week, great, because
cheers.
Yeah, or it might be almost over. I think now look at the calendar.
What are the dates? Just say the dates out loud. It don't matter.
I think it's the 30th to the 8th. So yeah, this episode would be
Yeah,
May
because
30th to June 8th.
okay, yeah, because if you are listening to this in real time, we'll be at Logjammin by Human Robot on June the 7th, right? June the 7th.
Right.
Yeah,
June
yeah,
7th.
and that is a part of Philly Beer Week. So yeah, if you're in the Philadelphia area this week, a lot of y'all are down here because of Roots Picnic. Stay the whole week and go to a craft brew beer festival to end your week on the next Saturday, June the 7th. We'll be there. Hello.
or I'm glad we met you.
Yes, and this is over now. Yes, it was nice meeting you guys. Good job, Rob. I like that. Make it evergreen. Make the podcast evergreen.
What else is going on in the craft beer news? Two Roads Yards and Bald Birds have formed like a contract brewing, I guess, agreement. I guess they're. I'm not really sure what the purpose is. I think I know I saw the announcement, but if it's contract brewing, I guess it's to help develop more brands. I guess in terms of or just organizing themselves. But I think that happened earlier in late May or something to that effect.
Where is that at? Where are they based out of? The Two Roads and the other brewery.
Well, Two Roads is based in Connecticut. Yards is obviously in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
But Bald Birds, I don't know what Bald Birds is.
I feel like that's a Philly thing. No, that sounds like an eagle, a bald bird.
It does, but I wouldn't.
It's not necessarily. Yeah, it don't. They don't have to be in Philly. I just feel like they Eagles fans. Go Birds. But do they? Is the contracting? You know how like the one in Chicago, they just do like local within that region contracting, and then there's a couple of. I think there's one in California that does contract brewing. Are they going to be just local within the region, or are they going to contract nationwide? Do you know?
I don't. I should have read more up on. I just read it briefly. I think they posted something on Instagram about it, and then I think Brewerbound had an article in their magazine as well.
Okay.
Regarding it. Also, in Philadelphia, while I'm talking Philadelphia, they there was, I think it was 6 breweries or so. 6 breweries got together and did limited cans for Kevin Bacon's foundation. So they all did a can of his for 6 trays of Kevin Bacon.
I was about to say it was 6 breweries.
Yeah, so
that's awesome. Yeah, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, 6 breweries.
Yeah, because that's the name of the foundation as well. So they are doing that. I think it was Attic Brewing, Evil Genius, Human Robot, Sacred Vice, Wissahickon Brewing, and I'm missing one. And Yards, shit, and Yards.
Yeah. Yards is in everything, as in all the beer news today.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. All the cans
who the seventh brewery that didn't make it. I'm sure it's like 2 or 3 that wanted to be in there that didn't make the cut. Well, what was the criteria for becoming the 6th? Did Kevin Bacon pick the breweries? How does this work? I have so many questions.
And I think if you visit all 6 breweries, you get a chance to you get a chance to enter a chance to win VIP tickets to the Bacon Bros music. I guess they have a concert coming up. Mm-hmm. Well, and obviously people may know that Kevin Bacon also does music with his brother. So you do get VIP if you join them all. So it goes to a good cause. The foundation actually is pretty cool. I was reading up on it the other day because it tries to brings equality and justice, and all these kind of things, and supporting youth empowerment. So it's definitely a cool organization that Kevin Bacon
sounds like it.
Put together. So if you are in the Philadelphia area, and you get a chance to go out to all 6 of those breweries, hopefully you get a chance to get all 6 of those cans. I'm gonna try it. If they don't sell out before I get up.
Let me know. That's a good. We need to do a Philly beer day. We haven't done it in like 2 years. That would be a good beer day.
Yeah,
I think I've been to all of them. But say it again.
At 6 breweries, you
gotta pace yourself. We've done it before. Come on, calm down.
Yeah.
We've done it before. I've never been to Wissahickon. I've been to all 5 of the other ones, but I've never been to Wissahickon before.
Which is funny because I think we were down the street from it when we went to some of the other ones.
It didn't go. That's how it be.
Yeah. So hey, sometimes you just gotta.
When is the 6th? Is there a deadline to make all 6 breweries?
I'm sure there is. I don't know when
Yeah, probably a couple days before the actual concert, I would say, probably.
Yeah, probably because I'm sure they have a. I don't want to say just while supplies last.
So that's it then. It's while surprise lasts.
Yeah, and it's a charity brew, 6 degrees. A fermentation is the name of the brew. 6 degrees of fermentation. So that's actually pretty cool too.
You know, call somebody to tell them to put that on hold for us so we can try it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if I should have looked further into it. They actually have a launch party. Let's see when the launch party is. Oh shit! It was May 28th. From 6 to 8 at Yards too as well. So they are doing everything. So shout out to all the 6 breweries that participated in this worthy cause. And even and Human Rights is always supporting worthy cause because even with the Logjammin, that goes to all the proceeds go to the Michael J. Jackson. Michael J. Jackson Foundation for brewery schools, brewery inclusion for people of diverse backgrounds to be able to get their brewery degrees and stuff like that. So shout out to them as well. What else is going on in brewing news? I guess there's a lot of legislation going around regarding THC beverages or and of that nature, or seltzers and stuff like that didn't have a lot of regulation, but now a lot of governments, local governments are starting to step in and try to put it in the same categories and tiers as other alcohol. So it's getting a lot of momentum. I think we got it going on here as well because there's some breweries that are involved in some of that THC action.
But isn't it's like a difference? I'm confused by with the laws and how they're trying to make the laws because like marijuana and hemp are pretty much the same thing, but they're trying like if they use hemp to make the liquid, it's more legal than if they use marijuana to make the liquid. So I know that's the categories that they're trying to fit, and then Delaware is screwing up their marijuana legalities and how to make it consumable and legal for regular people in the state. So I think that has something to do with it. That's what the holdup is because they're trying to figure out if marijuana and hemp are the same thing. They are, and you can use hemp for this, but you can't. You can use marijuana for this, and they're trying to categorize it. And I think that's what the holdup is. But I know a couple of breweries locally have already started like THC and CBD seltzers and beers before. They were trying to get it like ahead of the game. Like we already got it. This is how you do it, and try to give the government a blueprint on how it should be done because they're already involved with it. So hopefully it'll stay.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to. I'm sure it'll stay. I think it is more about what the parameters mean.
How the government can get their little 2 cents, 3 cents, 80 cents. Yeah.
Yeah, and they love to add some regulation. I mean, in some things, I guess regulation is fine if you're talking about like water quality and stuff like that. But
yeah, absolutely.
we'll see what happens.
This CBD THC, y'all regulations is we'll see.
Yeah, because I don't know if they have the same regulation. Or maybe they do, but like sometimes it's like pharmaceuticals and stuff like that could be worse than like these things that they put more stringent regulations on.
And then you know how every state has their own alcohol and beverage laws, and the distribution is weird because of that. Like getting it crossing state lines with your liquid is different because of that. So I think trying to add CBD and THC to different seltzers is probably going to increase that hardship of distribution and getting it out as well. I think a couple of the breweries that do CBD and THC seltzers, they don't distribute. Like you gotta come to the brewery to get it, to purchase it too.
So. Right. And I guess another local beer news, Wilmington Brew Works is expanding their craft beer footing here in the state. They're opening up at Wilmington Work North. I think they did get most of their final approvals, so they can charge ahead.
Sidebar, right next to that place, right next to where their new place is going to be, is a barbecue and donut joint.
Yeah.
Bro,
Them donuts are aggressive.
That, to say it lightly, my guy. You don't go there and buy a dozen donuts. You buy one for you. That's just it's a one serving type.
I don't even know, one for you. It's like one for the family.
That's true. That could be true. It's like a whole cake.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like
you know what it reminds me of? They're the size. Remember when we were little and Cinnabon opened up in the malls, and you could smell Cinnabon from any place in the particular mall that you were in, and then you went and got the big ass Cinnabons. That's what the donuts from this donut barbecue place look like. And then the barbecue, I've never had the barbecue because the donuts be so good. But the barbecue, I've heard good things about it. I also think it's black owned too. Is it black owned?
That part I don't know. I think I had the food. It was good because I think when I was at the other brewery that was there before,
right? Yeah, they were open then too.
I had it and it was pretty good. The donuts are like a cake. Like they are like
yeah.
like if you have some of those gourmet shops, I think like not even like Federal, but like cracked prune or duck donuts in that vein.
Or like crumble cookies, like how Crumble Cookies does their cookies. Right. This is kind of like how that you'll never see. You may see the same donut the next day, but they're throwing those donuts out or giving them to the homeless and making fresh donuts every day, and different flavors, or the flavors change daily. So
I think they do breakfast too, because I think it's like a pancake spot too.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. But that whole little area where Wilmington Brew Works is going for their north location is really nice. They got a comic book shop. Then like across the street is a lot of different restaurants and places to eat. So Wilmington Brew Works, that's a really good location that they're picking to expand.
For people who are interested, it is Hill Donut Co. and Pancake House. I couldn't remember what the
yes, do that.
It was called. But yeah, it's
good. It's good cheesesteaks around there. It's good chicken wings around there. I like Marsh Road, bro. Marsh Road is.
Yeah, there's some pizza shops on there like B&M Bistro, and there's also a new one that just opened up called Nick's Pizza. I think.
Yeah, Nick. That's where I went. They got the chicken. I couldn't think of the name. Thank you, but Nick's Pizza got the chicken wings, and they got the #1 cheesesteak right now in Delaware, according to Delaware Today.
Yeah, according to Delaware Today, you don't agree?
It was good.
You need to do a cheesesteak blog and see.
I should. I definitely need to get on this
because you have a lot of opinions about cheesesteaks.
I do have a lot of opinions about cheesesteaks. I know how to make a good one. I know what a good one tastes like. And I know what a nasty one is too. But yeah, they have a pretty good one. I don't like hard bread, Rob, with my cheesesteak. Their bread is a little harder than I like, but the actual meat and the cheeses combination was really good. Yeah,
but they use like a pop seed bread, right? Or pop seed.
Yeah, I want to say sesame
or sesame.
Yeah, and it's a little toasted.
And that tends to always be a little harder. Yeah, that bread normally tends to be a little harder.
Yeah. So I like a softer bread with my cheesesteak, and I like you to mix your cheese within the steak, within the meat. Don't just put slices of cheese on top, and don't cheese whiz me. I'm not from Philly. Don't cheese whiz me. I don't know what that is. That's fucking retarded.
Whiz without.
Yeah, whiz without me every time. You American cheese and Cooper Sharp me. Don't whiz me.
And do you like mustard on your cheesesteaks?
I've had it's like when they try and be bougie and extra, they'll do it, but I don't need it. I'm not requesting that. No.
Gotcha.
And you ever been to the one back? It's around here called Tenderbones, where you gotta eat it with a fork.
No, I have not. I know
I'm not a fan of that either. Like, I don't want to eat my cheesesteak with a fork and knife. Like that
because it's so much.
It's so big. It's so byou can't. The bread gets soggy. I don't like soggy bread. I'm real particular, I guess. But yeah,
you gotta have order it. Can you put my meat in a container and my bread? I'll make it when I get home.
I'll make it when I get home.
You gotta do that.
Yeah, something like that, man. But all that's to say is shout out to Wilmington Brew Works. Y'all got I don't know if y'all serving food there, but y'all there's a lot of different food locations within that area. So they'll whether they have food trucks or a grill or not, they'll be perfectly fine.
Right. I think they are doing some because it's supposed to be like a old school dive bar type concept to it. Okay. So I think there is food that's going to be there. They do a little bit.
Step your game up. Step your game up because people, unless y'all just not gonna have people bringing food into the establishment because there's so much food around. Like it's between them and like out in Newark on Main Street, like Marsh Road and North Wilmington and Main Street in Newark are probably like two of the top just places where you can get food all the time and all around. And then the riverfront. I think that's the three. Where it's just like multiple places to eat, and it's really good food in both those sections, all three of those sections.
Right, because some people would say the Market Street in Wilmington is bougie food.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tapas, small plate joints.
Yeah,
but they are
it's good.
Beer award winner.
Yeah, chef. But I'm ranking them fourth. I'm ranking them fourth on those three places. Like I don't need you to be James Beard chef worthy. I just need your food to be good. Like I don't. Like, there's a lot of people that ain't never going to get a James Beard Award, and their food is delicious. Shout out to the James Beard Award winners. We've had at least 3 on our show. But as far as not having a James Beard and still being really good food, like, there's plenty of places out there. And Market Street be boasting because they got the James Beard up and down the street. And it's been so old. They always had good restaurants on Market Street.
What else? Oh, this ain't beer news, but shout out to probably when the NBA saw this could potentially be the matchup, they probably were screaming. But the fact that it's Oklahoma City, Indiana Pacers in the final, they probably hate that for TV. But shout out to both teams.
Both teams. Yo, I know the referees in the first half of the last game with New York and the Pacers, they was doing everything they could to try to extend that thing to 7 games. They definitely won in New York. But I'm happy that it's going to be some Hicktown basketball cities that's vying for the championship. It's about time, man. I don't think they've ever done it. It's never happened.
Well, Pacers been in the finals before,
but they was playing the Lakers,
right?
And that season. That season was the season where Sacramento got robbed, and they should have been in the finals against the Pacers. But the NBA was like, nah, we're not letting Sacramento and Indiana fight it out. Like nobody's going to watch that show. It's all about ratings. Right. I guess they don't. I don't think it really. I think the ratings are going to be what they are, regardless of who's in the finals at this point in time. Like it's no start. Just like you got the MVP is in the finals. When's the last time the MVP was in the finals? I feel like it was Allen Iverson. Like it's really rare that the MVP person who wins the MVP is still in the finals.
And Jokic in the finals?
No, Embiid won that championship. Embiid won the MVP that year.
Oh, that year.
Jokic won 2 MVPs in the championship, and then he won the MVP the year after that. So he had that 4-year run, but he never won the MVP the same year he won the championship.
Huh. So
it probably wasn't Allen Iverson. That was 24 years ago. But it's very rare that the guy who wins the MVP is in the championship and wins it.
Right. I'm actually kind of excited because I think they have a similar deep squad. They both have deep squads, so they go deep.
I think the difference, Rob, is going to be Oklahoma City's defense is like historically great,
right?
And the Knicks defense was pretty good, and sometimes Indiana had trouble with the Knicks defense. So I just if Indiana can figure out, I think gentlemen, I think they're going to be good games, but I think it's not going to be like when it comes down to it, they're just going to turn up the heat in that fourth quarter, man, and it's tough. I've never seen defense like that since like the Chicago Bulls. Like they can fucking play defense, man. And they don't care about nobody care about scoring on neither one of the teams. Like they just want to get to 100 points and see if we can get the other team to 90, and we know we got a chance. So I'm gonna watch every game.
Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton for taking it personal that the league voted him the most overrated.
Me and you had this conversation. I swear up and down he should be a Sixer, and Daryl Morey and James Harden. James Harden and Daryl Morey's little relationship messed up him being a Sixer. But I enjoy watching him play. Somebody sent me a reel saying he looked like Steve Urkel from the episode where Steve Urkel was playing basketball and killing everybody. And he does. He does. I call him Hallie Urkel, and he be balling, man. Like he's not underrated or overrated anymore. Let's just say that. It's Halliburton time, not Dame time. Whatever else is Jalen Brunson. It's not Jalen Brunson. That man is. Let's go. I'm rooting for the Pacers. Even Trash Gal Siakam. I want Trash Gal to get another one too.
Right. But I had a weird Trash Gal. Trash Gal, but not Draymond, Trashmon Green or Trash?
We could call look, Draymond is a much better defender. He plays defense better than Trash plays offense.
He played dropped 40 last night. I'm at whenever this couple nights ago.
Right. But watch the highlight. It never looked like he dropped 40 until the game is over. Like when you see it.
That's
and him dropping 40, it's not like he do it all the time. That was the first time ever. Like that was a career high for him.
Was it?
But it looks so slight. It just looks trashy. It just looked like he shouldn't be in the NBA. and then you look at the box score and you're like, yo, he just had 23 and 8 and 6. That was a fucking good game. But it just don't look good to me.
I don't know. The guy that the Knicks put in at the end of the game, I think I could take him for sure.
Here you go, man. You cannot be an NBA player. None of them. Stop.
He don't even look like he should be in the NBA. He look like he took somebody's spot.
He probably did because he's a good basketball player. I was watching the game yesterday. Josh Hart was like just shooting bricks. Like he was having a terrible, terrible game. And he was on the free throw line. And I looked at him, I was like, if I was 6'5", bro, I could definitely take Josh Hart in a one-on-one. And then I just was thinking about it. I'm like, no, I probably couldn't. I'm not giving myself that much credit and saying if I was a foot taller that I could beat a professional basketball player. You cannot. You can't, man.
But I think Josh Hart also said, how can I stay in the NBA?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because in Villanova,
a lot of players do that.
He was the man at Villanova.
Yeah, I think a lot of players. He was better than Jalen.
Right. Exactly. So he said, you know what? I'm going to be defensive.
Yeah.
I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to find my niche.
I feel like it's a lot of players because you got to figure most of the players in the NBA were all Americans or at least all state in their state. They may be champions in their high school or whatever. So you got to take a step back to realize like Jalen Brunson is the man on my team. And yeah, I was the man when we played together in college, but he took a jump and I didn't. Yeah, so I gotta stay. Am I going to stay in this league for 10 years or am I going to be here for 2?
All right.
Maybe I need a 3 and D it.
All right.
I'll be a great 3 and D.
And even though they didn't make it to the finals, I got still shout out our Delaware zone, DiVincenzo. I mean,
yeah, Delaware Dante.
Every time I see his contract, I'll be like, big up to you. He's getting to the bag for sure.
Yes. And look, Bones ain't have a good season, but his contract's still nice and healthy too. Right. Like, shout out to all the Delawareans doing good things. There was a high school great. They just did the Delaware High School Hall of Fame, and a couple of players from our era got into the Hall of Fame. A field hockey player and a basketball player from the late 90s.
Who was that?
Got into the field hockey player. The field hockey player played for USA, and the dude, the guy. I can't remember his name. I think he's the head coach of William Penn now, but he went to Penn.
Okay,
Xavier. No, not the other one. The other one.
Tail Davis.
Nope.
Oh no, Lenny Brown.
Lenny Brown. Yeah,
Lenny Brown.
Yep. And it's weird that they all didn't make it at the same time because they all left. They all graduated at the same time.
I thought Gary was the coach at William Penn.
Listen, man. Maybe he is. Well, somebody from William Penn made it to the Hall of Fame. You asked me to tell the names. Now you got me all confused. I just knew that they went to the Hall of Fame.
Gotcha. Well, shout out to them.
Shout out to the other Hall of Famers.
But I had a weird thought when I was thinking about the championship between Oklahoma City and Indiana. Why is it called the Midwest and not the Mideast? If you're in California, is it the Mideast? And if you're in East Coast, is it the Midwest?
And it's so funny when you said Mideast, we're so conditioned. I thought about Pakistan and Iran and Iraq. I didn't even think about there ever being a thing as Mideast United States. That's crazy. I thought about the Mideast, the Iraq. Shit. Yeah, why is it the Midwest? It's because, we went west. Yeah, we went west.
I think that's probably what it was. Yeah.
I always think it's weird when you look at the map and all of our states on the East Coast are tiny. And they just in the West Coast just got to do whatever they wanted.
And it's vast land.
Like, how they just get to take that? Like, they just took all of that?
Like, that was the first state. We should be like California.
Right. We should be at least as big as Pennsylvania.
Right.
We're the first state and we the second smallest. It's so strange to me. And California and Texas out here, like, we want all of this. This is all of ours. I'm like, it should be like 1,000 states in America.
Right. Or yeah, at least 100 states.
There's some counties that are bigger than Delaware. That's ridiculous. It's crazy. There's not a county bigger than the whole state.
You know what? I don't know the history of that. Like I know Louisiana Purchase, how that kind of happened. I don't know how Texas became, how they said, okay, all of this is California. And some of it was Mexico at one point.
Yeah, all of it was Mexico. All of it was Mexico. All of it until it gets cold. It was Mexico.
Yeah,
at some point. Oklahoma, Arizona, New Mexico, California, Texas, Louisiana. That was all Mexico.
So was that because of it was the Mexican War? Mexico in the
don't get me the line, man. Don't get me the line. I'm not sure.
Now I got to really go and research how they decided once the 13 colonies, okay, but once they started doing that, how did they make borders for these states? I'm curious. Yeah. I'm curious how that.
I know, like
all this.
I know, like the Panhandle in Oklahoma, that was like racism did that, and I know like it's a little section in Missouri, like at the tip of Missouri, is like that little at the bottom of it. It's kind of weird, and that was racism too. Like that was a county that wouldn't seed from the South, so Missouri was like, "Oh, okay, we'll take it," and they took up that little bit of county. So yeah, a lot of it has to do with racism and the extinguishment of Native Americans from their land. Cheers. Happy America. 4th of July is coming up.
Yeah. And Juneteenth is coming up as well, June 19th.
Hey, that's the better holiday to celebrate. Let's not be sad when we say Happy Juneteenth.
Yeah. Now you got me thinking. I want to know. Yeah, why do we? Besides New York, I think New York is probably the biggest on the East Coast. Is that the biggest state?
Yeah, it's either that or Pennsylvania because they both look huge to me.
Yeah, well, those two. Like, how did they become these huge states?
I remember Pennsylvania and Delaware used to be the same,
right?
And then, like right around the Revolution, Delaware was like, "Nah, we don't want you or Maryland. We'll do our own thing. Let's go sign this treaty."
Right. So why didn't Delaware say, you know, can we get Maryland too? Like,
yeah. Well, you know what? I think this is an educated guess, and I think I'm right. Delaware was founded by the Swedish, and the Swedish got out. Well, the British, and I forget who founded Maryland. There's some dude named Calvert. I'm not sure if he's German or British, but Maryland and Pennsylvania, those colonies stayed. And the Swedish colony went back to Sweden. So Delaware became open territory, even though, you know, like I said, Native Americans was hanging out and living here for a century before. But once the Swedish ceded their stake in America, then Delaware became up for grabs because the south of Delaware was Maryland and Newcastle County was Pennsylvania until we decided to do our own thing.
So now I'm very curious because civics was my favorite class growing up. So I need to. I don't think we ever really discussed how borders
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, they never. That's something that I've learned as a grown up. Yeah, for sure.
I gotta ask ChatGPT.
Keep asking questions though. You gotta get below the surface of ChatGPT. The first question ain't always the best answer.
Yeah, well, yeah. If I just keep on digging, sometimes they'll help you dig a little deeper too.
Yeah.
What else? Actually, over the weekend. Well, yeah, over the weekend, one of these weekends, I watched there's a two-part series of Pee-Wee Herman as himself, as a documentary about Pee-Wee Herman, which was very well. He was like kind of in the driver's seat, but not. It was. He actually did not tell the filmmakers that he had cancer, so he died without even the filmmakers knowing that he was sick.
So the documentary, he was sick during the documentary, but he never mentioned it to anyone.
Right.
And then died during the filming of the documentary.
Well, he kind of like quit before the filming. Like he never did his final interview. And I'm assuming because he was sick and he was such a private. What you learn, he was such a private person. Once he decided to go full in on being Pee-Wee Herman.
So he could be more private.
Well, no, that wasn't even why he just wanted to focus on. He said, if you watch the documentary, and if you don't, he got into a relationship with this gentleman. He got so he got so identified only as himself in a relationship that he kind of felt like he lost himself, so he didn't want to do that anymore. So he said, I'm just going to focus on being who I am and focus on my career. And so with that being placed, so he actually went back in the closet.
So when he was Pee-Wee Herman on the Playhouse and on the movies, he was in the closet.
Yes, right.
He was so eccentric and so like not flamboyant, but just so like childlike that in hindsight you look back and you're like, yeah, that dude was gay. But I never looked at him when I was watching him being entertained as a child and thought that he was gay, and I didn't even care. Like, he was just so funny and entertaining. None of that shit mattered, and he was battling that. That's so crazy. And it was like probably millions of his fans could care less who he went home to bed with. But he was so good, man.
And the crazy thing is, like, I think California owes him because I know he got caught in like Sarasota with the he was tugging himself off in a dog.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Which, and now today's standards is nothing. Like the fact that he
slapped on the wrist. They would just ban him from the movie theater. That would be the least.
So they was like, "Oh, you hear me?" Probably other cats was doing it in the adult movie.
It was just that he was. It was that he was Pee-Wee Herman doing it, and it's like, what the hell is Pee-Wee Herman doing in the theater? Wasn't he still in the closet at the time? Was he back in the closet at the time?
Yeah. At this point, Pee-Wee Herman. I mean, I think the Pee-Wee Herman show had just finished, like wrapped its 5th and final season.
Okay.
And then he was at the adult film thing, and they had like a sting going on. I'm not sure what they thought was going on in this adult movie theater. They had a sting going on. Yeah, I guess it's how my man got caught up in it. Robert Kraft in terms of that massage parlor.
yeah, he was definitely there on the wrong day. He was definitely there on the wrong day, allegedly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yo, speaking of stings, yo, did you hear about the Washington football team sting from like the 80s? They call all these dudes with warrants and offered them free tickets to a Washington game. Mm-hmm. And they said, we're going to bus y'all over to the game, meet us at this hotel. So they bust them everybody met at the hotel, they signed their name, they got into this conference room, and a guy got on the mic and was like, "Hey guys, y'all are under arrest." And just arrested all these people. And some of the dudes was on the bus still like, "Hey, are y'all still taking us to the game? Like, what's going on?" Like, nah, bro, it was a sting. Like, this is a sting operation. Y'all going to jail today. It was like one of the biggest sting operations in America.
Yeah, no, I never heard of that. There's a documentary on that too?
I don't know if it's that, but I seen the reel on Instagram. I'll find it and send it to you.
Yeah, but just thinking about and there was another one where they said he was a pedophile, he was in child pornography, which turned out to be not true. But
that's tough to believe. That's tough to believe. Like, a lot of people that are child pedophiles don't really be promoting how much they like children.
Right. But he had this collection, I guess. If you didn't see that, I don't want to spoil it for you. I mean,
I'm gonna watch it. Would it come on? Netflix or
it's HBO Max? I think it is.
Okay.
Got
the Max.
I think it might just be HBO. I don't know. But it was pretty good. It was it showed a lot about him before he became Pee-Wee Herman. I didn't realize. I mean, my wife was talking about this. We didn't realize that the movie came before the show. I didn't realize that in my head.
That launched the show. Yeah. The first one, Big Pee-Wee's what was it called?
Adventure,
Big Adventure, yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize until after he was done the playoffs that he was an actual comedian, like Paul Reubens, the comedian.
Yeah, but he really wasn't. He
wasn't.
He made the he was like one of those performance artists. Like, he was the Growlings guy. He did improv. Okay. He was at the Growlings, but he really was. He didn't even know he was a stand-up comedian until he started doing the Pee-Wee character.
Really? I thought he was. Okay. So he was an entertainer before. He was Paul Reubens, the entertainer, before he invented Pee-Wee.
Right.
And then Pee-Wee kind of blew him up. And that's when he started doing kind of stand-up. after that?
Yeah, because
he was always doing performance artwork before Pee-Wee came along.
Yeah, because even Pee-Wee was like a performance arts.
Yeah, definitely. Now that I think about it, I can see him making that up on stage and that just being a hit.
Yeah, because he would Tootsie Rolls, he would Tootsie Rolls in the crowd, and people. Lawrence Fishburne, who became Cowboy Curtis years later, he was like, he went to the show, the live show. He was like, I didn't get it. He was out here throwing Tootsie Rolls at people.
they was loving
it. Right. He said he did not get it at all. But documentary was very insightful to see how
I want to watch it. That sounds good.
Find out who he was as Paul Reubens and not Pee-Wee Herman, because he loved Pee-Wee Herman, but he also wanted the recognition as Paul Reubens, so he kind of struggled.
It's kind of like Urkel, like Jaleel White, and Urkel and the twins from Full House, all that type of stuff.
It's actually funny because, but this was Paul Reubens' creation, like it was of his making of Pee-Wee Herman, and he was the one who kind of said he's just gonna, like when he went on interviews on talk shows, he was Pee-Wee Herman, like he never was out of broke character, like so it was kind of his own.
It took a long time for me to realize Paul Reubens, like Pee-Wee Herman, was not a real person's name. I was like, that's his name. That's his. And look, Big Adventure seemed like being like 6 watching Big Adventure seemed like a true story to me. Like I thought he was really looking for his fucking bike. I thought it was based on a true story. I know he didn't fly through the sky with the bike or no shit like that, but I definitely thought the fat bully like stole his bike and sold his. I thought all that shit happened.
I know it's funny. We watched it after we watched the documentary. We started watching, but it still holds up. We watched
the TV show or the movie.
The Big Adventure, the movie.
Yo, Large Marge still kind of scares me. Especially when they walk in and he's like, "Large Marge sent me." They're like, "What? What are you doing with her?"
Right. But it was still, it was definitely worth the watch. Really get seeing Pee-Wee Herman with a beard always blew my mind every time I saw it. I was like, this mother had
long hair.
Beard. Yeah. I was just like, this cat was really just really had to just completely change who he was. He really, I guess he was like a character actor because he really immersed himself in this character that so much that people did not know who he was as a person. But some of that was his own creation, because he wanted to be so private, because he was in a relationship with a black man for years before he became Pee-Wee Herman. That's when once that relationship ended. Well, he ended that relationship because he became so identified with just that relationship, like he just wanted to be this couple thing, and he lost who he was as a creative and stuff like that. Which is why
he did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like he went from I identify as a guy in this relationship with this dude, and then I'm breaking up with him because I want to be myself. And then he became another persona and lived within that and going on, because it's so easy to go on.
He didn't care about not being himself. He cared more about his career. He said he became more complacent. Like he was like, I just love being here. I love being this. But he also wanted to be famous. Like he wanted to be.
And he can't be famous being with this guy and being stagnant as he was. Gotcha.
Right. So he had to cut it off, and and it worked for that part of his life.
Yeah.
Sure.
He got famous for sure. Yeah. He's arguably probably the most famous person in the world for like 2 years.
Yeah, for probably a little longer than that.
And that's the same time when Michael Jackson was in the world, like doing Bad and Billie Jean and shit. And Pee-Wee Herman was right alongside of him, like, the kids love me too, Mike.
Right, because it was actually like, I guess it was MTV's pull, because that's where he really introduced the character to the world before the movie came out. He was on MTV a lot. I was like, yeah, this is why he was in my brain before the TV show. Yeah, like, I didn't realize that until I watched it. Like, the sequence of events is different in my head than they actually were. But now I'm going back and watching the documentary. It really lays it out.
So it was MTV. It was MTV Pee-Wee. Then it was the movie, and then it was the show, and then all the other stuff out. Wow. Right. Yeah, I didn't know none of that.
Right, because it was a they did it at the Growlings, like they did this playhouse at the grounds, but it had a lot of adult innuendo, a lot of adult comedy. Like he
Mhm.
didn't think at first. He didn't think it was a kids show until they.
So he was a nerd talking about adult shit.
Yeah.
That
So-
is, oh my god.
So it was definitely not. He didn't think it was a kid show at all until they
Mhm.
approached it. But when I watched the movie again, it felt like he was setting it up. Like maybe he didn't realize it, but he was setting it up to be a kid show because in his mind, because he said he loved like Howdy Doody
Mhm.
and Captain Kangaroo. So maybe
Yeah.
he didn't realize it, but in his mind, he was already gearing towards that. 'Cause
Right.
when you watch the movie, you're like, this is definitely made for kids. For
Children.
sure.
Yeah. It has no. It has. He's a child.
Right.
He never tells his age, but you're like, yo, that dude's like 28 in this movie, but he's acting like he's 7, 8,
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be 18 in perpetuity or something like that. He said
18.
Yeah.
But in that,
in that era, maybe 18. That's what it felt like. I don't know.
maybe. Golly, that's 7, man.
Yeah.
He act like a 7-year-old with a license.
Yeah, but they definitely maybe not with the sting operation, but with the pedophile case, I think they did him dirty because he didn't have any child pornography that they said he accused him of. But he always took the route of not wanting to open himself up. He always took the lesser charge and like, yeah, I'm gonna just take no contest and keep moving. But when you look at the evidence, and even he would admit, like, yeah, it wasn't any evidence there.
It's just,
but I just wanted to move on.
Mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm.
I just wanted to move on and kind of like that's what people say Michael Jackson did too. A lot of time he was like, you know what? Even if public opinion always is already cast once they throw that out there.
Yeah,
you never get that.
Right. So why? Even if I fight for my freedom and they say not guilty, it was a child pedophile case. Like I'm always going to be looked at this way. So the faster I can get rid of it and move on, the easier. So that's what you think Michael and Paul did.
Yeah, that's definitely what Paul did because he said it because he did have like he was able to talk about it a little bit. He was like, yeah, I was just over it. He said, I think he ended up pleading. They didn't find any child pornography, so he pleaded guilty to obscenity charges because he had this collection of like vintage adult male magazines, porn magazines. Because he was like a real collector, so it was a hoarder. If it wasn't organized, he would have been a hoarder. But yeah,
some people collect people who collect different things, man.
Right. And if it wasn't organized, he would be a hoarder. But it was organized shit because he wanted to always. He had like he could like do a museum of like weird and eclectic shit. And maybe they will eventually do it. Maybe the Pee-Wee Herman Foundation. I don't know. And
it's a Pee-Wee Herman Foundation.
I don't know if it is, but maybe eventually his sister or somebody. Because I don't think he had any kids, but he does have his sister, I believe, still living. And his assistant for 40 years is still living. So maybe they'll do something in his honor and use some of the stuff that he collected over the years. Because it was like, and he said there was like this one photo of this young guy in the magazine that they used to throw charges on him. But it was still of an adult magazine of an age guy, but he looked young. And they said, "Oh,
come on, man."
So maybe it was just
because if the dude is underage in the magazine, then we gotta sue the magazine too.
Right. I think it was more about homophobia back in those days being really prevalent. And the guy was like using political thing. I think he was saying, I'm going to crack down. So it was more of a political thing on the guy. So it was a shame. But he did eventually get back into the limelight before he passed away. Because he did do another Pee-Wee movie. I don't think I've ever seen it though, but it was like in 2016.
Really? I seen Big Top Pee-Wee and Pee-Wee's Great Adventure. It was like,
it was Pee-Wee's Big Holiday. Actually, Judd Apatow was the producer on that one.
Oh, okay, so that's pretty good then.
And Paul Russ, and I think Paul Russ helped write it as well. So they're a good team together. So I was like, oh, let me go find and see if I can find that because even when I looked it up on TV, it didn't come up. But I guess I got to look deeper. Yeah, that was it. What else? I think that was all I watched. This time period. But it is Black Music Month. So shout out to the artists that make the sound of America or the world, really.
Pretty much.
People do imitate the music, even if they don't like to admit it. They know where it started.
Everybody does.
So shout out to all the innovators, the pioneers, even the people today doing their thing and promoting Black music. I'm excited to see what Little Tiny Desk does, because they always do a great job throughout the course of June for their music Tiny Desk series doing Black Music Month. So I think E40 might be in there. I don't know. I think I saw a little lineup, but I'm always interested to see what they do, because they do always a great job. Something new and something old and something throwback.
Mm-hmm. Shout out, since we talking about Black Music Month, shout out to our local Black music artists. A good friend of mine, his name is Kyle Alexander. He's a rapper, singer, and he just dropped a single. It's one of the first singles he's dropped in a long time. It's so funny. Like, everybody wants to be a rapper, but you realize you gotta live your life and still make money if the rapping thing doesn't go the way you want it or as fast as you want it. So, in my opinion, he should have blown. But he's my friend. I'm biased. I think he's a good rapper. So the song is called he's very religious. He's a religious man. So you could call him a Christian rapper if you want. He don't really cuss in his music. But he got bars for days, in my opinion. And it's when people think Christian rap, I don't think he is. And every once in a while he says, "I love God" in his rap. You know what I mean? And he doesn't curse for the most part in his rap. But I wouldn't consider it. You could play his music on Power 99, in my opinion, and not just on Sunday mornings. You know what I mean? So shout out to Kyle Alexander. Hopefully he'll be on our show in a couple of weeks, months, or whatever. And we'll play a song. I'll give it to you, Rob, so you can play it in the beginning of one of our episodes coming up. But shout out to all the other artists that's doing their thing out of Delaware that I don't know. I would like to meet you guys.
Right, because I think I did see a post. I don't know if it was you or he posted, but he did. One of my favorite artists. He does have a song with Molly Music. I like Molly Music.
Yep.
A song with them.
Is he from Delaware too?
He's not from Delaware, but I don't think he's from Delaware. But he's be around. He's been around for a while. So I enjoy his music for sure. All right. Cool. Is there anything else before we wrap up?
That's it, man. Happy Black Music Month. Happy first month of the summer. Happy birthday to our
Pride Month, I think it is.
Yeah, happy Pride Month. Yep. Happy birthday to my little niece cousin, Kayla. Happy birthday to my little cousin, Kelly. My son's birthday's coming up. Father's Day's coming up for us, so get ready for them dad jokes. We got you.
All right. Before we go, we always like to know how nobody can find you on these World Wide Webs and these social media. So, Lou, how can they find you?
The only way you can find me is on them Instagrams. You can look up Lou Belgium.
All right. And shout out to I am 302 Yoda on Instagram. If you want to follow the podcast, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. You can also go to www.brewsingbanter.com, because we are there as well. If you want to find out how you can get merch, find out what we are doing, or listen, or other places you can listen to it. You can also check us out on YouTube. Remember to subscribe and set those notifications. If you want to follow me, Rob Stay Bruising, there it is. Bing, 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 bing. Once again, this is episode 294 of Brews and Banter Podcast. Until next time.
Have a good week, everyone.
Peace.
Father, help them, for they know not what they do. Life because they never seen the truth. So the devil